Alright, so we're gonna service the bowstring, and I have what we have here, what I kind of a faux double boiler here. I have some beeswax that I'm melting down inside of another container, and I'm gonna just turn the heat down a little bit so it's not gonna boil so much, so it just keeps it nice and the liquid. And I want I'm gonna dip fibers of the dogbane, the straight fibers of dogbane, in the beeswax, and I'm going to wrap around the bowstring. So over here I have the bowstring, I have the bow, and I have the bowstring here. I want to wrap about this much, in front of the handle, so that this is serviced enough to where it'll withstand continued pulling and knocking of an arrow. And the beeswax will help set it, and it'll also help lubricate it. It'll also help strengthen that area. Okay, I've set the bowstring up, as you can see, between two bowls here, so that the bow with the string is nice and set up for me. I can go ahead and I can take the wax off the fire here, and I can have this ready for me. And all I really need to do is just loosely dip this in the wax. I don't need to do a whole bunch. Let it drip dry a little bit. And wax does come off. This is beeswax. Beeswax does come off. You just gotta scrub it. And I want to start right about here. I'll wrap it, and then start servicing it around. Just like so. Nothing real special about it. I can take some wax, as long as it's not too hot, kind of dip it and paste it on here. All I'm doing is wrapping the fibers around the bowstring. Again, be mindful not to burn yourself with the hot wax. Smash it down with my fingers and shape it. Give it nice texture. We've got another strand here. little bit more. Then, as long as the wax is not too hot, I'm going to dip my fingers in and rub the wax on the surface to work it in, and then work it in with my fingers. Kind of roll it with my fingers like so. And we'll put this back on the stove. Okay, now I can take a lighter and kind of heat up the wax that we just put on without lighting the string on fire. So all that work we did would be for nothing. Let it cool a little bit, and then you can kind of roll it and work it and shape it around the bowstring. And this will hold pretty cool. This will hold pretty good. Careful not to burn yourself. Again, if stuff's hot, don't touch it. You can roll it and then let it cool. And then what we can do later on is we can de-string the bow and then take the bowstring and roll it between our hands to make sure it's good and round and worked in to the rest of the string. So that's pretty much it. This is not the actual a true way of servicing. There's a different process. We're just using regular spun thread, but I think the wax adds a different touch to it. It will add some lubrication to the string as the fibers like pull and push, and when they're pulled back and released, it will always reinforce itself, because even just in the mechanics of the physics of the string being pulled and released, there's going to be friction involved, which is always going to reinforce this worked area. I think the beeswax is a good addition to this. It's a natural construction. In a primitive situation, you wouldn't need to do this. If it's just quick and dirty and you're trying to get something to eat and there's plenty of game around like rabbits and things like that, then just having a string, a couple of strings in case one snaps, you're good to go. But just for something to plink around at the target range, I'm adding this as part of the reinforcement.